Hey everyone, this is Bobo from the My server. I'm here to do a video on the newest addition to Mabinogi that is, yes, permanent, and it is called Festia Festival. Alright, so there's so much to cover in this place, guys, so let's get started. Festia is basically a beautiful new addition to Mabinogi, and it's basically a little theme park within the game. Now, I really have to give my props to Nexon for this place because they really went out on the detail in Festia. I mean, look at this. It's so adorable. You got characters that are just mad crazy and funny, and you've got characters that you can even relate to and recognize from the internet. Like, what is this? They really went out on this place, guys. They even got some NPCs selling snacks and other NPCs just hanging around the park, running around the park, being active around the park, and it just gives you that nice theme park feeling to the game. Now, just make sure you guys don't eat too much food because you don't want to end up being like this lady here, barfing rainbows and whatnot. Now, in order to enter Festia, you simply just have to open your character info, click on the Festia tab, and click on Enter. It will also change into an exit button if you want to leave Festia. So it's very similar to the Squire thing, except here, instead of the Squire place, you can actually meet other players here. So it's not just a place for yourself, it's a place for everybody. Now, if you've never been to Festia before, the first thing you're going to have to do is talk to Tia. She's going to have a quest for you, and you're just basically going to have to listen to her ramble about, you know, what this place is about and what you can do and all this stuff. And if you ever forget, you can always talk to her again, and she'll give you the rundown. So she'll basically be your little guide here in Festia. After that, the next person that you're going to see is Fez. Fez is going to be the one person you're going to talk to for your dailies because he's going to give you a Festia VIP pass, and that is needed in order to play any game here in Festia. Now, without a pass, you won't be able to play any game, so unfortunately, you can't just play any game you want as much as you want. Once you complete his quest, he'll give you an additional 2 more passes, so in total, you can get 5 passes. Now, Festia is broken down into 4 different zones. You've got the fun zone, you've got the adventure zone, and then you've got the frontier zone, and last but not least, the break zone. Now, it seems kind of scary because, like, you know, this place can be kind of big and branches off into several sections. But, you know, don't worry, guys. You guys will get the hang of this place really quick. It's really simple. So I'm going to go ahead and start to break down all the different zones for you guys so you don't get lost. Now, take a look at the map, guys. This is how big Festia is. It's basically one huge large circle, and on the outskirts it's just like a bunch of grass. The grassy area is basically the most popular area where most of the treasure chests are at for the treasure chest events. Alright, so let's first start off with the fun zone. I'm pretty sure in the fun zone the first thing you guys will notice is the performance stage. For the performance stage, you can request to the NPC you wish to perform for an X amount of minutes on stage, and then just hop right onto the stage and start playing your music. You're given a few minutes to prepare before you can start, and then from there you can just do whatever you want, play music, you know, be a musician, live your dream. It's basically your own fun thing to do in front of other players. Now, the great thing about this place is that you don't have other players interrupting you with their own music while a performance is going on. So I know you guys have seen that go on before in Mabinogi, and it cannot be done here. So this is the best place for you guys to share your music. The next and familiar game you guys will see in the fun zone is Martial Darts. Martial Darts is basically a dart game that you can play with another player or even a few other players. Now, when you sign up for a game, you will be placed into a waiting list, but that doesn't mean you're confined to stay in that same location. Once someone else signs up for the same game you are playing, you will automatically be teleported to the game location once you start the game. Now, Martial Darts is basically any other dart game like you've played in the past in Bazaar games. Basically, you have to try to get closest to the target score that's listed. Now, make sure you keep a close eye on the arrow below the dartboard because that indicates the wind direction. So you might want to move your little cursor towards against the arrow, if that makes sense. So that way you get hit into the correct spot you need to go to. Each slice is worth the number of points noted on the rim, and the outer band is worth double the value of the rim. The middle band is worth triple the value of the rim, and of course the center is worth 50 points. Remember, you don't want to go over the targeted score, otherwise you will automatically lose. After every Festia game, using a ticket, you will automatically receive a Festia box regardless if you are the winner or loser. Alright, so now the next game here in the fun zone is the shooting gallery. It's actually a very new addition to Mabinogi, and I actually find it very entertaining. This game, you simply just have to find one other player to do this game with, and what you basically do is shoot targets. Targets that's just gonna go zip back, right and left, and it's gonna be a little bit annoying. I mean, it sounds very simple, and I thought it was very simple when I first looked at it, because I was like, psh, I got this, I can shoot these targets, no problem. Spam click, got it. But what happens here is that the target, the cursor actually shakes and like goes all over the place, so it's really hard to control. Now, in order to prevent this from happening, your character will need to hold its breath so it can steady its weapon and target the enemies better. In order to hold your breath, though, you will need to have that bar on the very top be not empty. So my suggestion, though, guys, is to make sure you get that bar up as much as you can, because towards the last 15 seconds, they will start to release all the good characters that are worth way more points, the little orange targets. And also, to hold your breath, you will need to hold down the space bar. Not tap it, just hold it down just to use that hold breath feature. So that is basically my little tip, guys, for the shooting gallery. The last game in the fun zone is actually one of the most popular games in Festia because it only requires you to play, a soloist game. So basically this game requires you to attack this little punching bag here. There's several options actually. There's a single target and there's a multi-target. Your preference really. And basically what you have to do is deal as much damage as possible within the short amount of time they're given to you. And it's all about damage, guys. So you go all out, do final hit, do meteor, do whatever you can to do as much damage as possible to get into the rankings. But other than that, that's it. That's all you gotta do. You don't even have to play this game, actually. You can just stand there and not do anything. You still will get a box. But that is basically what the Clubroom Meister is. Now, I know some people are going to wonder, how the heck do some people get so much points in the rankings? It's really all about gears, reforges, enchants, buffs, cater, every little bit matters. The Clubroom Meister game is essentially the one ranking game that shows who are the strongest players in the server. Assuming they play the game, of course. Alright, so now we're entering a different zone area, the Adventure Zone, and the first game we're going to cover is Lorraines Nightmare. I'm pretty sure some of you guys are familiar with Lorraines Nightmare. It's been an event game before in the past, and it is now here permanently. It's a very simple game. You will need to have a minimum of 3 players. Not a huge party like the event, but you can have a bigger party if you want to. Now, for Lorraines Nightmare, you basically choose a class. You're basically nerfed here. You're not going to be an OP player if you're a really high level player. You're nerfed here and you basically choose a random class. Once you've chosen your class, you will have to play that class for the whole entire game, I guess. Now, in your inventory, you will have some gold, and you will need to use that gold to buy some skills for your character. Now, be very careful what you spend on, because every single bit of gold matters to what you rank up. It will determine whether or not you will survive through the whole remainder of the game. To get more gold, some of the mobs that you kill will drop it, or at the end of each round you will get some gold. The purpose of this game is to protect your castle from being invaded by all these zombies. You will see that your castle has an HP amount, and when it depletes to 0, that's when the game is over. Once in a while, you may run into Pan, and he's gonna be like, yeah, answer my questions, yo, and then you're gonna have to, I don't know, answer his questions. And he's gonna give you a little item that can help you in your little Lorraine thing. Now, I don't know how often he shows up, but apparently after like the first round he showed up. So I don't know about you guys, if it's a random thing or whatnot, but that's all he does. He just gives you something. But other than that, the whole time you guys will have to be protecting the castle. You will get more difficult mobs, you will get bosses that can be rather difficult, and you just try to stick it out as long as possible until you just basically die. Now the next game is another returning game called the Tail Chasers. It is an old event game that is now again permanent into Mabinogi Festia Festival. For this event, all you gotta do is have at least a minimum of one other player to do this event with you. Now, all you gotta do for this event is to choose a specific class and go through the dungeon in like a little circle map. The dungeon's basically gonna be rooms that just go in a circle, and it's whoever reaches the other person first wins. Now keep in mind when you're doing this dungeon, you're gonna get some little things that will help you along the way. Now first things first is like if you get a mine, you gotta hit the orb that you want to place a trap on. And if you get like speed buzz or stuff like that, you might want to use it to help your character move faster throughout the dungeon. These come from those little leprechaun guys, so be sure to kill them and not leave them behind. Again, regardless if you win or lose, it doesn't really matter. You guys will both receive a reward. This little mini game is all for fun, so it's not really part of the rankings either. But it is part of the achievements for the Festia list. Alright, and now it's on to Frontier Zone. In this zone, the only game that you will find is Crystal Defender, but don't worry, there are several stations in Frontier Zone that have purple curtains over them, and that kind of indicates that there may be some future releases for Festia. For Crystal Defender, this game is very similar to the Fate Stay Night event where you had to protect the barrier crystals, except for this one, it is just one single crystal that you have to protect with many waves of enemies coming through the portals. Now there's a total of 30 waves, I believe, and it gets increasingly harder. Now do keep in mind that you will be facing enemies that are immune to certain attacks. Like for example, magic may not work for certain enemies, so you do want to make sure you're prepared for this run by being able to switch weapons and having plenty of potions to survive. The barrier will pretty much break when it reaches 0 HP, and that's when the mission will end. In addition to the Festia Boxes, you will also receive some gold depending on how far you've gone through the stages. The last zone that we're going to cover now is the Break Zone. In the Break Zone, there is only one game that you guys can play, and it is called the Hammer Slam. The Hammer Slam is actually a very popular game because it's really quick and you can just easily do it with your friend. And it's just a simple, basic, bizarre game that you guys played before in the past with the hammers. All you gotta do is sign up with a total of 2 players. You can have more players if you like. And all you gotta do is hit that thing that it doesn't even have to be the circle exactly. You just have to click on it when the game starts, and make sure you hit the bar when you reach it. Now here is the interesting thing about this in terms of the rankings is that in order to get over 1,000 points, and I know this is going to be a very common question from players, is purely random luck. If you hit the max, which is the very highest point in the bar, you have a chance of reaching a either 900 points on average, or you have a chance of going over 1,000, even to 2,000 points, just randomly. It doesn't matter how strong you are, doesn't matter how quick you are in getting it to the bar, it's completely random chance. Another thing that you guys will find in the Break Zone is the tarot reading lady. Now I have to give you guys a big tip right here and say, make sure you guys check your fortune every day, even though you guys think it's something completely useless, because it's not. If you see the fortune teller, you will get a fortune of either the Sun, Moon, Queen, or Fickle tarot. Now what this basically means is that the Sun tarot will give you a free Festia box. The Moon tarot will give you a 4-leaf clover, which absolutely does nothing except for whatever 4-leaf clovers do for you. And Queen Tarot gives you a Festia box after you complete a mission, so you get an extra Festia box. And of course, the Fickle Tarot will give you a free extra VIP pass. Now, you can only do this once a day, so make sure you get that fortune telling thing once a day and don't miss it. Another thing that you guys will find at the break zone is the landmark tree. Now, besides watching the cute little sprites run around the tree all day, there is some other use for this tree besides that. Now, if you just sit at the tree, you will notice that you will start to get a buff eventually within 10 minutes. It is called a Great Mood buff or something like that. And not only that, you will see on the bottom of my screen right now that you will also gain some EXP over time. It's basically just like the banquet where you receive some EXP for just sitting around and being there. Now, before you start going, woo, infinite EXP! No, unfortunately, it does cap at a certain point, and you will not be able to get more EXP until the next day. So here is basically the buff that you guys will receive. It's a huge amount of buff. You can get it again after it's gone if you sit at the tree again for 10 minutes. Another thing that starts off in the break zone is the treasure chest event. Yes, it's an actual permanent event that happens every Saturday and Sunday at 6 p.m. PST. All you gotta do is talk to Fez before that, or even during that, but I suggest it's before that, and get a key from him. He will give you a special key that you will need for the treasure chest event. Basically what this event is that you have to equip the treasure chest key and hit a treasure chest that you find out on the field. Now this is very important, guys, that you guys are on time for this event, because this event only lasts for 10 minutes long and there's only a total of 100 rewards. So if it gets all taken, then you guys pretty much will not be able to get it. There's also no point in trying to get more than one key because you can only get one reward regardless if you drop your key and get another one. You also cannot take the keys out of Festia, and if you try, it will just automatically drop from your inventory. Alright, so the biggest tip that I can tell you guys about the treasure chest event is to go into the field areas. These treasure chests are really hard to see. They're super tiny little chests, and you can lock onto them or alt find them, I guess, if that's the right word for it. So my biggest tip is to go out into the field area, the outskirts of Festia, because that's where most of the treasure chests are at. There will be some within the center of Festia, just a few, but not a lot. Now all you gotta do is just hit a chest. It doesn't even matter if it's the same chest someone else is hitting, because it's not like, you know, you hit one chest and you automatically get it. It's you hit one chest and you may or may not get it. You may or may not get the chest that you're looking for. It has to match your key or something like that, even though all the keys look the same. So you have to get lucky and try to find the one chest that matches your key. Again, here is the area of what I meant when I say the outside of Festia, kind of near the Clubroom Meister area. There are a few chests out here, easy to hit, easy to find, because you know you're out in a green open field. You only need to smack the chest once, and if it says it's not your chest, just move on to the next chest. Once you find your chest, you will receive automatically a reward of a Festia VIP pass and a random item, which usually is an EXP or AP potion, but the better rewards here would be a Fez or Tia figurine for your homestead. There's also Credney's reforging tools, a fine reforging tool, ancient magic powder, special diams, skill training seals, etc. Another thing to take a look at in Festia is the ranking system. Now there is basically a ranking board, and this ranking board shows all the players that have the most amount of points for each game except for Tail Chasers. Now what's the whole point of this Festia ranking thing? Well, there are some rewards that are given to players who reach the top 50 for any of these games. Now if you're the top 41 to 50, you will receive one extra Festia box. If you are 31 to 40, you'll receive 2, 21 to 30, you'll receive 3, 11 to 20, you'll receive 4, and if you're the top 1st to 10, you'll receive 5 extra boxes. Now, of course, you won't get this instantly within a day. It does take a few weeks. Not only that, but there are also wings that are given to the top 3 players that receive the most amount of points for any game. Now, there's the Grandmaster wings, the Master wings, and the Champion wings. Keep in mind though, these wings do expire and they're not permanent. Now let's not stop there with rewards, guys, because there are other rewards that you guys can obtain through your Festia list. Yes, there is a Festia list. If you go under your character information, under the Festia tab, there is a list of all the achievements you can obtain for completing the mini-games. The ones with the stars indicate that you can receive an actual prize from. Things like titles, Tia and Fez outfit pieces, there's even a pet under there. So there is a lot of interesting, little things you guys can achieve through this list. Granted though, it's going to take you forever because there is one that says you have to do the daily like 300 times. You know what that means? That's 300 days, guys. That's like a year to finish this thing. So it's absolutely going to take you a lot of time to complete all these achievements. So I suggest you guys take a look at it carefully and get started. Alright, so for the past couple days, I've been saving up my Festia boxes just for you guys because I know you guys love those box openings of what I get. So here you go, I saved like 40 of them. The first stack I'm just going to open slowly. As you can see, the majority of these Festia boxes gives you guys some crafting materials, I guess. But the nice thing that they give is one of those chat bubble stickers. Like, I know a lot of people are like, ugh, those chat bubble stickers are so not worth it because they only last for a week and then, they're gone. But now, with Festia being permanent, you can pretty much have a chance of getting chat bubble stickers as much as you want. Alright, so this is basically what I've gotten so far. Seems to be a lot of potions, a lot of gems, herbs, things I won't use. But I guess the most notable things you guys probably want to know what you can get from this box are a lot of the festival stuff. So you guys can actually get a festival flowery dress, boots, shoes, straps, hairpin, wiggling fox ears. So those are the things you can potentially get from this box. Unfortunately, I did not get this. I got some other junky items. But that's the rarity of it, I guess, guys. This is the rarity of these boxes. So that's what I got. Ooh, an actual shadow mission, like crystal. Alright, so let's try to open my next stack of boxes with by spam opening if I have room. I barely had room. Alright, gotta stack things up together. Stack it all up together. I have no room, guys. Literally, space is an issue. Alright, put my fabric in my pouch that I got. I'm like really lagging. What? Got some homestead seeds. Obviously potions. It seems like the general stuff is potions, homestead seeds, and crafting materials, and maybe a rare chance of getting a bubble sticker. So hopefully you guys got some good stuff versus what I did. Alright, so if you guys want to know my personal thoughts on Festia, I have to absolutely give Nexon an A+ for this one. This is one of the nicest new additions I've ever seen on Mabinogi. I know some people are kind of debating that, oh my god, this is such a grind and we gotta do this every day, and I'm like, yeah, it's true, but you know what, it's a nice environment to be in, and it's just something that people overlook in terms of gaming, because I've yet to see any game that has an amusement park feel to it, and they've added it to Mabinogi, the game that has practically everything in it. The only issue is that there are some people who complain about the whole pass limit and the fact that they cannot find players to do the mini-games with. So there's still some things that need to be worked on, but you know what? Stepping stone, guys. Stepping stones. Alright, so that's basically my video on Festia. Hopefully this video was helpful and informative. Feel free to leave in the comments below your thoughts on Festia. And like always, guys, stay awesome and enjoy Festia Festival.